The Section 194 Committee inquiry into suspended public protector Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane's competence to hold office is expected to meet today. This comes after Mkhwebane's legal representatives, Advocate Dali Mpofu, and his team withdrew from the inquiry. An update now live from SABC News reporter Bulelani Phillip. He joins us on Zoom. A very good morning to you. Bulelani, can you give us an update on what happened at the inquiry and what does Mkhwebane's legal representatives, Advocate Dali Mpofu and his team, why did they withdraw from the process?
Well, good morning to you, Desiree, and to the viewers at home. Basically, I think let's take a step back for a moment to say that yesterday, the legal team of the suspended public protector had made an application to the inquiry where they were asking the inquiry to halt its proceedings because they are in the process of applying in the Western Cape High Court to actually, appeal or to launch a review application on the decision of the inquiry to dismiss Mkhwebane's recusal applications against the chairperson, Mr. Kubutile Janji, as well as the AMP, Mr. Kevin Milam. Now, Advocate Dali Mpofu, who represents the suspended public protector, was arguing that decisions that are taken by the inquiry after the dismissal of the recusal application, if the court had to find in favor of Mkhwebane, all the decisions that have been taken subsequent to that dismissal of the recusal application would be rendered invalid. Hence, he thought that he needs to caution the committee that proceeding with this inquiry while there is a pending court case, it would mean that all those decisions are actually, invalid. Now, fast forward to when, this decision was communicated to Advocate Dali Mpofu as well as the suspended public protector. Then Advocate Mpofu then said that he would be withdrawing from this process because he felt that they were engaged in illegal activities. Now, the question now it becomes that that must be asked is that was this decision relayed to the suspended public protector? And in her answer, she said that there was no discussion between her and the legal team as to whether they would withdraw. And she had actually asked the committee to say that she wants to go and have discussions with the legal team to actually understand what was the basis of their withdrawal because she had not given them the instructions to withdraw. And secondly is that she is saying that if then this legal team that was representing her does decide to maintain that position that they're withdrawing, then she must be given the opportunity to go and seek another instructing attorney that will be representing her. Now, there are other issues that will obviously have an impact on this thing because you'll recall that when the public protector was challenging this whole process from the onset, she actually went up till the Constitutional Court, where the Constitutional Court actually ruled that she has a right to legal representation. Now, in the absence of any legal representation, it would mean that the committee might find itself in a position where it's in limbo. So we're only going to hear this morning in terms of how the committee is going to rule on whether they are going to proceed with their processes or they're going to wait for the public protector to actually get another legal team or whether there is any clarity of whether her withdrawal, the withdrawal of the legal team that was led by Advocate Mpofu will continue with her or not. So at the moment, we'll have to wait up until after 10 o'clock when the committee resumes to hear how the process is going to unfold. Desiree.
So conspiracy theorists might think that this is a tactic to delay the process. But if Advocate Dali Mpofu's concerns are indeed genuine, does this not leave Advocate Mkhwebane vulnerable?
Well, Desiree, as I've been trying to be cautious as we've been speaking over for the months, I don't want to venture into the realm of speculation, but the bottom line here is that Advocate Mkhwebane has a backing of case law, which is that Constitutional Court ruling that I've referred to, that she is entitled to legal representation, and therefore the committee will have to consider that in whatever decision that it makes But again, the committee, on the other hand, has been stressing the fact that this process that they have been engaged in has been delayed by a lot of legal applications in the Western Cape High Court, sometimes to the Constitutional Court. But at the end of the day, they were saying that they are having a problem with delaying this process because they've got a constitutional obligation to hold the public protector accountable, and they need to finish that work as soon as possible. Now, the background again that Desiree is that the public protector has only another year left in terms of a term of office, which expires in October next year. Now, what this means is that all of these delays are actually eating into that time. And what the committee has been cautious on is to say that we don't want to find ourselves in the process where by the time we conclude this process, a term of office would have expired, because that would render the proceedings actually moot. Desiree?
Yeah. So who will attend the inquiry today, and how long does Mkhwebane have to make her decision known to the inquiry?
Well, at this stage, it's still unclear how the committee will actually proceed, because as I've indicated, is that overnight there were supposed to be some backroom negotiations or discussions on both parts, both Advocate Mkhwebane having to get an understanding from her legal team why they withdrew, and on the other hand, the committee was also, having its own engagements in terms of how then they will approach this process, given this impromptu withdrawal of Advocate Mkhwebane's legal team. Now, as I'm saying, that the committee will then need to balance all of those things, whether they proceed or whether they give the advocate time to actually seek another legal representative. But in terms of the entire process, what we will need to look at is that the committee has been, for a period of over a month now, had two outstanding witnesses that must be actually finishing their testimonies before the public protector calls their witnesses. Now, the tricky part here is that the witness that is actually supposed to be next is a person who is a senior manager in the office of the public protector, Ms. Nelisiwe Mkhwebane, who is supposed to be cross-examined by the legal representative of the suspended public protector. Now, in the absence of a legal team from the public protector, then it means that cross-examination cannot go ahead. But they still do have an alternative of the last witness, which will be Mr. Niels van der Merwe, who's a senior legal advisor in that office. Well, whether testimony of that witness will continue, it's still up in the air, and we'll have to wait and see how the committee proceeds going forward.
Bulelani, you always say this process is complex, and it seems like it's not getting any better, but hopefully you'll update us later on in terms of what takes place this morning. Bulelani Phillip is watching events there in that Section 194 process that's currently underway in Parliament to determine the fitness to hold office of Public Protector Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane.